welcome to Bluejay Chat. I'm your host, Nathan Meyer. Alongside me, as always, Dr. John Sample. John, you and me.
It's you and I today, and it's an exciting time of the year, so I'm surprised we don't have a whole crowd of people here.
I know, but they're all busy right now trying to get everything ready for that all-important day that's coming up that students hate and parents love.
Absolutely. First day of school.
Yep, but before we get into that magical holiday, let's talk about the board meeting that happened about a week ago now, isn't it?
It has been, and the board meeting was very effective, very brief. We have so many good things that take place at the committee level, and because we have various committees, whether it be HR Finance or our Safety Committee or our Finance Committee or our Facilities Committee, we even have a Curriculum, Pupil Services, Technology Committee. A lot of those things happen at the committee level. They recommend them forward for the board approval or for board discussion, and so we weren't in there very long at all. We always start with recognitions, and so I want to mention Hunter Wallace and Michael Casper. They were selected to be a part of the All-State High School Golf Team for academics with high honors. They both maintained a 4.0 GPA, as well as competing twice a week or more in our varsity golf meets. As you know, spring sports and weather don't go hand in hand here in Wisconsin, and so they had a lot of makeup matches to do. They still maintained a 4.0, so we gladly recognized them for their efforts.
And 4.0 is not easy, even with someone that's not an academic sometimes.
No. If you're just buckling down as a student and not involved in anything else, a 4.0 is while it's reachable, it takes some hard work. And so these are two student athletes that dedicated their after schools and their weekends, as you know, with the golf team.
Of course.
So,
yeah.
And then John Miller, our activities director, his professional organization recognized him. He went through a voluntary certification process, and so now he is part of his State Athletic Administrator Association. He got certified and is going on to the next level there, so that just shows a lot about John as an administrator and how seriously he takes his job. Each one of us want to give back to our professional organizations, and he's certainly doing that. And last year was his first year, and he took that on, and so kudos to John as well.
Yeah, and he's done a fantastic job, especially with our, with all the coaches. I mean, we had a coaching change out of the blue for the football team, and it's led to an 0-2. Let's talk about those Blue Jays, because, Jay Stadium, it just got finished.
Yeah. We
finished that project, and it's beautiful, John. But so far, the wins haven't come with that beautiful stadium.
Not yet. We've taken on two very, very tough teams, and I will tell you that this last Friday, it was a much more respectable showing from our Blue Jays. We were able to put more than just 3 points on the board. In fact, we were leading at the end of not even at the end, halfway through the first quarter, 14-0 against a very, very tough team, ranked 6th in the state, I believe. So they held their own. Turnovers didn't go our way, and neither did the weather again. They had to postpone the game, I believe, for 45 minutes due to lightning.
We postponed the game because I was there. They postponed the game for about 45 minutes until about 9:30, and then called it at that. But before that first strike of lightning, though, Merrill was on its way to a comeback, and I don't know. I can't say for sure that Merrill was going to win. Merrill was going to lose, but they were driving, and they were tempting. They were.
Our young men showed a lot of heart. I've always said this as a teacher and a coach and as a person. You learn a lot more from losing something than you do from winning. You don't learn much through victory, but you learn a lot through defeat. And so I know that our boys have learned quite a bit in these first two games about themselves and about what the rest of the season could look like. So I'm real anxious for this Friday night. We're going to be down in Mosinee. It's going to be our first conference game. I'm expecting a lot out of them this season, and I really appreciate Coach Klug stepping up at the last minute. It was a real shift with our coaching staff. Anytime you have a head coach leave just a week before the season starts, it sends people reeling, but he's handled it in stride, and so my hat's off to him as well as the rest of his coaching staff. They're doing a great job.
Yep, and he's a Merrill alum too.
He is a Merrill alum.
He's got a very vested interest in the success of this football team, so that's not going to go down the drain. So With the fall sports, also we had the swim team. I heard they won down in Milwaukee a meet, like first win in many years.
A long time. First win, and I think they're saying over 20 years. And so they've certainly established their season already as heading in the right direction. Anytime you're facing where you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, they have everything to gain, and they're taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and then the tennis team, I did not hear how the tennis team did, but the soccer teams too, they won after a season where they didn't even win a single game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they didn't lose every game. They weren't the Cleveland Browns, but they had one tie in there.
Yeah.
But they're winning. I mean, this is a turnaround for some of our fall sports here, and I think we can attest, we can give John Miller some of that credit, can't we?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Not only is John Miller providing some stability there, but one of the things that did happen at the board meeting too was we've established and finalized the coaching salary contracts. We have a coaching salary schedule now. That's a first for Merrill. Before, programs used to be given an indeterminate amount of money or determined amount of money, and they would divide it up as the head coach sees fit. Now we've decided that in order to provide equity for all, we gave them a salary schedule. And so each head coach, each assistant coach, no matter what sport you're coaching, is going to know exactly what they're going to make that season. And we've tied it to the teacher compensation plan. And so as the teacher compensation plan increases by whatever the board deems fair each year, so does the coaching salary. Before, it was flat, it was stagnant, and now our coaches can count on an increase unless we go through a year where the board decides that it's best to freeze all salaries. So John Miller's doing a fantastic job. All of our sports are off to a great start. I'm anxious for what next week holds.
Yeah, and obviously we got to give a lot of credit to the student athletes, because if they didn't play as hard as they did, we wouldn't have these wins anyways. So.
And there is where it lies. Coaches can do so much from the sidelines, but it's where our student athletes really take control of their destiny, and they're the ones that deserve a lot of the credit. They're the ones on the field playing the game.
Yep. Right now they get to just practice and stuff, but pretty soon here they're going to have to practice and do the most important thing in their life, and that's go to school. So what should parents, though, be aware of coming into this new school year, whether it's, I'm a first-time parent with a kindergartner, or my kid's a senior this year? What is the one thing that I should be aware of that I have not had to be aware of here at MAPS?
I think probably the biggest awareness is, and it comes through a Department of Justice grant that we just received, and we also applied for round 2 of that grant, and that's for our to make our schools safer. And so we are pulling out all the stops this year. We've got grant monies dedicated to creating a safe school environment. One of the things that's coming up, and it's the P3 program, that's kind of Crime Stoppers on steroids. P3 allows students to download the app, which they will, and they will download the app on their cell phone. They can download the app on their iPad or their iPad Pro, whatever the case may be. And if they see something that they suspect as being unusual or out of the ordinary, they can report it anonymously. The Crime Stoppers takes great precautions in letting people know that this is a confidential service. You will not be identified, and there could potentially be a reward for students when they do that. So P3 is one of those programs that we're rolling out. We're also talking about the shatter-resistant film going on each one of our buildings in entryways. And we're talking about really beefing up our camera system. Just this morning, the cabinet, which consists of the central office administrators, have been talking about the next level of security, and that is installing devices which let anybody that's on that link know if a door has been secured. If somebody leaves the door propped open, we're going to find out about it right away, and we can investigate. That's how serious we are about the security and safety of our students.
Excellent, excellent. And I think parents can definitely, not that Merrill's never been safe to begin with. I think
Correct.
This has been one of the safest districts in the area, if not in the country. I can't think of one thing in the last 5 years that we've had happen that has made me go, oh, we need to beef up security. But
Right. And we've got Mark Heckendorf as our school resource officer in the district. He does a fantastic job. He's extremely proactive. Just last night, as soon as the email came out, I was in wrapping up some business in my office yesterday, and the ALICE training has now been rolled out to all staff, and that's part of our required reviews. And so while I thought I was the first one to get their ALICE training certificate for this school year, I was not, because Dale Bergman, being the one, he had to try it out. I was number 2, and I proudly printed it off and put it on the wall, and that's to show anybody that comes into my office, yes, we take these things very seriously. Not only do we have the ALICE training certificates that every staff member has to go through, but we've got mandatory reporting, and that's with any neglect or abuse. There's a variety of different things that we have to report on and to test out of. And so I did all my required reviews. I feel much more prepared for that, even though I am an ALICE trainer. But I think once our staff goes through that process, especially our new staff that are coming on board, they're going to be ready to rock for this school year.
I haven't quite done my ALICE training yet, but it's on my list of things to do this
Great.
week. So.
And it just came out within the last 24 hours, so you've got some time.
Yeah, so I can't say, oh, I'm very behind, but one of those, it is on my list of things to do, but it's busy time.
It is a busy time, lots going on.
Busy time. So with that, we talked about some of the newer changes. We're gonna try to be even safer than we've already been, but what makes MAPS the best school district in the state, John? I mean, we're talking all these different districts. Yes, no one else thinks we're number 1 in anything.
Right.
But we think we are. So what is the best part about MAPS?
It comes down to just one word, and that's care. That's care that the community shows us through their support. That's the care that our teachers have for our students. That's the care that our students have for each other. We're a district that truly, truly cares about each other, about the accountability that we accept as a responsibility for ourselves. So when I look at things like the new teacher comp plan, the new coaches comp plan, the past referendum, if you didn't have people that cared, those things wouldn't have happened. We've also got the grant that Dale Bergman and I worked so hard on. Dale Bergman cares about the safety of our students, as does every staff member here. So I think it really does come down to care. That's also starting to show. We had 23 new teachers because we had a whole slew of retirements this year. But of those 23 new teachers that we were able to bring in last week for 3 days, there's only 9 of them that are true rookies. The rest of them come in with experience from elsewhere. And so we're starting to attract people, and we're starting to attract caring people. So we're very, very, very poignant about our hiring process. We're very pointed as to who is going to be the best fit for us. And you're starting to see a lot of staff saying, hey, they're starting to notice Merrill, that's the place I want to work because people care. And so if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be care and caring.
Perfect. And I think I can definitely vouch for that. This has been a very caring district, even on a personal level for me. So I can definitely agree with that. Now, on to a question that you had no clue was coming up. So I had, just to give a little background, I had Derek Wellner on, which will be posted up on YouTube at the same time this Bluejay Chat is. So if you're watching this before that one,
sure,
you'll know the question too. And we talked a lot more city. We talked a lot more county. But I had asked him a little bit about the school district because he's a product of this school district. And my best idea in my head is having the city and the school district work together. You would think that they do already, but sometimes it can be a little rocky. Am I right in saying that, John?
Sure. So a lot of times we don't have an opportunity and we get in our own silos and we rarely have the opportunity to cross paths. I would agree with that.
Okay, so what is the best way you see the city and the school system can work directly together on anything?
Sure.
What would the best thing be that they work together?
I think the best venue, which has already been established last year, is the Aware and Active Citizens Group. We just met at T.B. Scott Library. The Aware and Active Citizens, we call them the AAC, committee came together. And at the table, while we didn't have a chance to talk, was Mayor Wellner, myself. We had all kinds of representation as you go around. You know, various businesses from the state, city leaders, David Johnson was there, and everybody has one common concern, and that's for the welfare and the economic development of Merrill moving forward. And we're not looking at what can it look like next year. Things like the Riverbend Trail, those types of activities and those types of support networks, those happen because, again, people care. Those have to happen because you've got a long-range plan. My door is always open, and I believe the mayor's door is always open, and so we need to take the responsibility onto ourselves as responsible citizens to make sure that we reach out to each other. And, you know, we can't operate without Church Mutual, without, you know, the credit union, Park City. We can't operate in unison. This is a community-wide effort. We also saw the Housing Authority was there at the table. So, as you know, we partner with a lot of things. We produce a house a year for the Housing Authority. The Fab Lab, we had the meet and greet where we have various businesses come in, especially if they were fab or manufacturing. I would say the best thing that we can do is take advantage of that Aware and Active Citizens Committee, and then other than that, take it upon ourselves to make sure we reach out and phone or email or face-to-face visit and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Can the city be on board with this? Or can the school district be on board with this idea? And I think that's going to be the best opportunity that Merrill has for its future.
And I can definitely agree with that. I mean, the school system, the way I put it to Derek was the school system, it's not just a school system, it's kind of a business. We put out a product, and that product is our students being the best, you know, that they can be. And he doubled on to that, saying, I can agree with that, and showed that to a business, our partnership with Weinbrenner.
Sure.
Which the Fab Lab will definitely help with, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're already getting a lot of interest from parents of students that want to be a part of that Fab Lab. In fact, one of the questions that came out of the local paper here with the photo news is it's ask an official. And so the question this week that we're working on now is, my son or my daughter wants to be involved in the Fab Lab, what kind of courses are you going to offer? There are people chomping at the bit to try to get into that because they see the value in it for their own children. We see the value in it for our students, and so while we want to move quickly on this, we're going to go slow to move quickly, and we have to have things in place. The curriculum is getting developed as we speak. Equipment is being ordered. Physical changes are being made to the structure, just to use the Fab Lab as an example. And so we really do. It sounds like an oxymoron to move slow, to move quick, but it has to be carefully planned. And so we certainly don't drag our feet when it comes to planning and the conversations and the discussions that have to take place. But you're right, it comes right back to the city, making sure we have all the right people at the right spots on the table.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, first day of school just coming up. That's the big holiday right now, isn't it?
It really is. You know, the yellow buses are going to start running. I'm not going to even think about if the snow is going to start flying, but first things first.
We got to get past September 1st.
We got to get past that. So just to encourage everybody to slow down, watch out for our kids. The roads are going to be pretty busy, and we're going to get them into our buildings safely, and once they're in our buildings, they're going to be safer than they ever have before. You know, those tragic events can happen anywhere. Merrill has been a very, very safe community, and I think it's because of the proactive steps that our own law enforcement, whether it be Merrill PD or our Lincoln County Sheriffs or our school resource officer or our administrators and our teachers in our buildings, that's our first and foremost priority, is to make sure our students are safe, and everything else follows after that. That's when the learning takes place. So I'm really excited. In fact, this morning I went to the 6th grade web orientation, and that's onboarding last year's 5th graders. As you can imagine, they're coming from 4 different elementary schools, and they're all coming together, and there was so much excitement and energy in the air. Mr. Martinovich and Mr. Seaman did a wonderful job. Mr. Bezier was there, our counselors, in bringing them into the building. And so if I could judge the way this school year is going to go on that 6th grade excitement this morning, we're going to have a fantastic year.
Right, and not only are we getting them from 4 elementary schools, I want to add on, we're also taking some of the kids from the parochial schools, you know, some
Excellent
of them
point.
only go through 5th grade and then move from there.
Right.
I mean, I know a number of kids that obviously stay through the middle school years and then obviously have to come to the high school level after that.
Sure.
But we're getting kids from all over the place, and then obviously transfers in from other districts and stuff. This year, I mean, this is one of the better times of the year, and I always find it funny, John. Correct me if agree if you see it the same way, or obviously disagree. I always look at the school year in like 3 or 4 phases. First part is September. That's it, just September. You got to get through September 1st. Then like October to Thanksgiving is that second. Then you get the holiday logjam of, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, and I count Valentine's Day in that because there's, no school days in that area.
Sure.
Then we get that last part, the spring of just, we're almost out of the snow, we're almost out of this,
Yeah.
I see it in 4 phases. How about you?
I really do. I can almost take the school year and divide it into the 4 seasons, if you will, or bordering around those vacations. Right now, there's so much excitement and anticipation, and then it's going to go to that 4th phase of let's just kind of get to spring break, and then after spring break, it's a real hard push to make sure that we accomplish everything that we wanted to accomplish within the school year. And time just flies so quickly anymore. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like we were just talking about graduation not long ago.
Yeah, I know. It's not just you, because, I'm almost 26 on Saturday, and, man, it just flew by the summer flew by so fast. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Must have been something in the wind.
There must have been, but it's going to be a fantastic school year. I say that every year, but looking back and reflection is very important because you don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. And so looking back, every year has gotten better, and we're building on some really, really great things. I'm excited for our 23 new teachers coming in, just as I'm excited for all of our old students coming back, as well as our new students coming in. So it's going to be a year full of optimism, and I'm really excited to get this year started.
Yeah. And to add on one more point before we leave, this is the first time you and I have met not after a Board of Education meeting.
It is.
It was just such a busy time, we couldn't meet up.
Yeah. Schedules got busy, and while I always put it right on the calendar, this time we just couldn't make it happen, but we'll get back to that calendar once the school year gets started.
We'll definitely get back to it, and we'll try to get you and Derek on at the same time. I don't know about next month. Maybe you'll have to bring a guest next month.
I'll bring a guest next month, and I'll be wearing my tie because school will have started.
School will have started, and you got any idea for our viewers on who it might be?
Oh, whoever it's going to be very entertaining. I can tell you that much.
Right.
Yes.
We like entertainment, don't we?
We do. It'll be my mystery guest at this point.
Perfect. We're entertaining as it is, though.
Yes, we are.
Might just be your best friend that happens to be your imaginary friend.
Could be. Could be.
Never know. All right. Well, that does it for me and Dr. John Sample. Once again, I'm Nathan Meyer, Dr. John Sample. Thanks for joining us on Bluejay Chat, and enjoy the first day of school, parents.